Hi, welcome, School of Performing and Visual Arts, SOPVA. Diploma in Theatre Arts, DTH. BTH 1 Understanding Drama. Block-1 Drama and Introduction. Unit-2 Aspects of Drama. 2.0 Objectives. The focus of this unit is on dramatic structure, which includes plot, character and unities, and the dramatic texture that has a wide range from imagery and symbolism to setting, and props, from dialogue and action to acts and scenes, from atmosphere and setting to the tone of the play. The unit hopes to update the readers with dramatic terminology and the aspects of drama which constitute a play in general. The various ingredients of drama were rightly used to make the play a success or a failure. These ingredients also categorize the kind of drama which we will read in the next unit. Therefore, before reading various kinds of drama, it is important to focus on the essentials that go into the making of a play. 2.1 Introduction. Drama is the most dependent of art forms: director, actor, dialogues, story, actor. Dialogues, story, action setting, props, costumes, stage and spectators, all are required to make it happen as a play. Also consider that the play involves conflict, action, crisis and atmosphere. The same is true of films, too. New entrants in this area are TV, serials. All these are entertaining to watch. Plays enjoyable to read as text also, where words alone are the medium. If we are to do justice to plays, it does seem essential to take into account their unique nature as a sequence of situations that underlie action. Plays are acted on a public stage and focus on broader social issues. Spectators go to the theatre as members of the public and in some way associate with questions raised in the play, which is about the order man has created in society, and conversely the threat to the established social order. Thus, drama is the most peculiar, elusive and enthralling of all forms of literature. It has a universe appeal and lies near to the deeper consciousness of the nation in which it takes its rise, Nicole. It is capable of addressing widely and diversely to people of different epochs and cultures. Before we move to the terms related to structure, let us be clear as to what structure is and what texture is. This we shall take up here. A literary text reminds us of a building. The foundation, pillars, beams, walls, roof, etc. are the structure of a building, but the finish with paints, color combination, accessories, wood work, flooring, etc. is the texture of the building. In any literary work, the structure comprises the story, the characters, action and the dialogues, whereas the texture is highlighted through images, symbols, metaphors, settings, audiovisual aids, etc. Thus the dramatist presents life on the stage, as he deals with a much larger question of human experience and concern. One must grasp this wider meaning of the play. This is implicit in the action and characterization, the dramatic theme and the dialogues which reveal the soul of the play. 2.2 Dramatic structure. Plot. If we tell a story through a play, we are constructing a simple account of what happens. Plot is a more inclusive term. It is a fully developed version of the story. It takes account of the nature of the characters, the way in which events are related to each other and their dramatic effect. Plot talks about the overall significance of the play. The plot, Aristotle termed it mythos, in a dramatic or narrative work is constituted by a number of events, as these are presented in an order so that specific artistic effects are created. Plot and characters are interdependent. To put it into Henry James' words, what is character but the determination of incident? What is incident but the illustration of character? The dramatist is given the task of providing the actors with such dialogues as will enable them adequately to interpret their parts and at the same time are in complete harmony Nicole writes, when any dramatist sets to work, he will have, at the outset, 3 things to determine: the theme which is to be dealt with, the characters by means of which that theme is to be displayed, and the medium, the actual dialogue, through which both are to be given expression. Thus the plot is the main entity that controls the intricate machinery of the play. The order of a unified plot is a continuous sequence of beginning, middle and end. The beginning initiates the main action and is also known as the exposition. The middle presumes what has gone before and requires something to follow, and the rising action reaches its climax. Crisis comes later through a reversal of happenings, following which denouement and the final resolution takes us to the end of the play. German critic Gustavo Freytag introduced the analysis of plot as Freytag's pyramid. He described the typical plot of a 5-act play as a pyramidal shape. In many plots, the denouement involves a reversal in the protagonist's fortunes, whether to protagonists' failure as in tragedy or success as in comic plots. Recognition also happens at this moment. This is the recognition by the protagonist of something essential and important. As a plot evolves, it arouses expectation as well as surprise. The interplay of suspense and surprise is plot. So far as conflict in drama is concerned, one can say that it may arise between characters and ideas, or between characters and events, or between characters, situations and the larger forces of existence. Still, each development must follow logically from a preceding development, and every situation that arises in the course of the play has to be logical and convincing. A plot may have a subplot, i.e., a second story that is complete and runs parallel to the main plot. The subplot seems to broaden our perspective on the main plot. For example, in Shakespeare's King Lear, Lear's story and Gloucester's story run parallel. Character. The people involved in the action of a play are referred to as characters. We assess them on the basis of what they say and do. A character is an individual or a type, representing distinct traits through speech, dialogue, and deeds, actions. According to Aristotle, ethos, i.e., the moral element, and daionia, i.e., the intellectual element, are the 2 basic elements that constitute a character. The main character is called the hero or protagonist. The opponent is the antagonist or villain. A character may remain stable or may undergo a radical change, but he should be consistent from beginning to end. E.M. Foster in aspects of novel distinguished between a flat or type character built around a single idea or quality and a round or complex character who is primarily an individual in his or her own right and has many intricacies as well as depth and intensity. In temperament, if a flat character is 2-dimensional, then a round character is 3-dimensional. Apart from simple and complex characters, there are stock and shadowy characters that are new functionaries and assist in the development of the plot. Introduction of the characters in the growth of drama has been discussed in the earlier units. Some of he plays titled on the name of the characters are Romeo and Juliet, the major tragedies of Shakespeare, King Lear, Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, Othello, and Macbeth. Richard III, Julius Caesar, Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, Ben Jonson's Volpone, Brecht's Mother Courage. The player-actor should have technical equipment in voice, facial expression, bodily praise, gesture, and must understand the essence of his character. He should respect his parts, as well as fellow players and the audience. It is he who reveals the feelings, emotions, intentions, and conflicts inherent in the dialogues meant for the play, and these have to be made lucid and interesting. 3 unities. The 3 unities are the unity of action, place, and time. In simplest terms, the unity of Action means that the action represented by a play should approximate the actual conditions of the staging of the play. The unity of place is that the action represented be limited to a single location, and unity of time means that the time be limited to 2 or 3 hours to enact the play. Because the unity of place and time were often flouted, they became optional. Aristotle emphasized the desirability of preserving some kind of unity in action, pointing out that this unity must be organic and could not be seconded by the mechanical device of making one man the center and cause of the plot. It presupposes that no subplot of importance be made to appear in any serious play, and no admixture of tragedy and comedy is permissible. But these two assumptions raised controversy, and with the passage of time, the comic and tragic fused harmoniously with each other. Tears and laughter were in close proximity, as comedy and tragedy were not dissimilar, nor were they fundamentally opposed to each other as to be treated in isolation. Unity of place and time restrict the length of time and the place of dramatic action to one locality while performing the play on the stage. It is true that for certain plays the unities can never be applied, but just as drama itself presents a kind of concentration of life, a certain amount of restriction helps the dramatist considerably in his task. The whole thing may be summed up by saying that in drama the one essential unity is the unity of impression. Allardyce Nicol in the Theory of Drama writes, this unity of impression is closely linked to the ancient unity of action, but places essentially stress not on the creative process involved in the construction of the play, but on the effect which the whole drama will have on an average audience. Drama, as we have seen, must be excessively concentrated, and this very concentration demands the securing of a unity of impression. On the other hand, by unity of impression is not necessarily implied mere monotony and sameness of emotions, for the unified impression as such may be gained by means of the utilization of a variety of emotions. Thus drama shows a subordination of some particular elements of which it is composed. In every great drama there is an idea, and through the unity of action and significance of characters, the whole structure of drama is produced. 2.3 Dramatic texture. Act and scene. An act is a major division in the action of a play. In British drama this division was introduced by Elizabethan dramatists, and there were 5 acts. In the 19th century there were 4 acts, and in the 20th century non-musical dramas constitute only 3 acts. Acts are subdivided into scenes. In recent times, plays are a sequence of scenes and there are no major acts. If Shakespeare's plays were divided into 5 acts and each act contained scenes, then Brecht's plays are divided into scenes and no acts, e.g. Mother Courage and Her Children is a play staged in 12 scenes, and Kalidasa's plays are divided into acts only. An act and a scene can be differentiated easily by the 2 following dramatic presentations. I. The curtain falls only after the act ends, and the scene can change just by dimming of light. Intermission is usually between acts. 2. A scene is an independent unit marked by the continuity of action without any change of place or a break in time. One of the most productive ways of discussing a play is to focus on individual scenes. For any scene will tell us a lot about the play as whole. Our focus in looking at a scene is, thus, twofold. We are getting hold of the play as a whole, identifying the thematic issues, and we look at the complex texture of the scene, i.e. the use of imagery, similes, metaphors, poetry, etc. We have already read 1-act plays. Atmosphere. It is the tone pervading a section or whole of the drama. The atmosphere can be happy, sad, suspenseful, fearful, religious, etc. E.g. in Hamlet at the initial stages of the drama, the ghost makes the whole atmosphere tense and fearful. Aside, These are lines whispered to the audience or to another character on stage. Not meant to be heard by all the characters on stage. Sometimes the purpose is to inform the audience. Comic relief, it is a bit of humor injected into a serious play to relieve the heavy tension of tragic events. The introduction of comic characters, speeches or scenes in a serious work of art to alleviate tension and add variety. Comic relief characters amuse the audience. This theatrical device was frequently used in Elizabethan tragedy, e.g. the horse-courser scene in Marlowe's Dr. Faustus or the gravediggers in Shakespeare's Hamlet. Deus ex machina, it is Latin for a god from a machine. It describes the practice of some Greek playwrights, especially Euripides, to end a drama with a god lowered to the stage by a mechanical apparatus who by his judgment and commands resolved the dilemmas of the human characters. The phrase is now used for any improbable device by which the plot is resolved. Foreshadow, this indicates lines that give a hint or clue to future events. Flashback, it is used by the playwright to narrate an incident from the past, and this either interrupts the main storyline of the play or is used by the chorus at the beginning of the act or scene. Irony, dramatic irony is a method of expression in which the ordinary meaning of the word is opposite to the thought in the speaker's mind and the events are contrary to what would be naturally expected. The audience or reader shares with the author the knowledge of present or future circumstances of which the character is ignorant. Sophocles' Oedipus is an example of tragic irony, and Shakespeare's Twelfth Night is an example of irony in comedy. In the former, Oedipus engages in a hunt for the incestuous father-murderer, and the object of the hunt turns out to be the hunter himself, for he is responsible for the incest and the plague. In the latter play, a comedy, Malvolio is ignorant of the prank being played on him by the subplot characters, and his speech heightens the dramatic effect. Mask was introduced in Renaissance Italy and flourished in England. It was an elaborate form of court entertainment that combined poetic drama, music, song, dance, costume and stage spectacle. The characters wore masks and at the end doffed their masks. Motif, it is a conspicuous element, such as a type of incident, dance, reference or formula which occurs frequently. Pantomime, also known as dumb show. It is to enact on the stage without speech, using only posture, gestures, bodily movement and exaggerated facial expressions. At times music was introduced. Charlie Chaplin movies are a fine example of pantomime shows. Poetic justice, the term was coined by Thomas Rhymer. It signifies the distribution of rewards and punishment in proportion to virtue or vice at the end of the literary work, which must be governed by ideal principles of decorum and morality. Setting, it is the general locale, historical time and social circumstances in which the action occurs. Setting is synonymous with decor, which denotes scenery and the properties used on the stage. Soliloquy, it is the act of talking to oneself, usually aloud and alone on the stage. His is a dramatic presentation of the character's inner thoughts, and this theatrical device is used for the purpose of exposition and to guide the judgments and responses of the audience. The best known are Hamlet's soliloquies in Shakespeare's play of the same name. The purpose of such speeches is to reflect on the wider significance of the action. Marlowe's Dr. Faustus opens with a long expository soliloquy and concludes with another which expresses Faustus' mental and emotional condition. 2.4 Summary. All ages have tried to find the secret of the art that embraces the tragic and the comic. Magnificent heights of poetic dramatization and forceful dialogue delivery, extravagant settings to bear stage, serious and joyful, crisis and resolution. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.